Well, I don't think I've ever been happier after 260 minutes of scoreless football from a team and a 5-0 loss a couple days before. But I'm okay with that performance yesterday.
It's an upgrade, I guess you could say. Didn't concede, and we've seen this. Oh, I'm sorry. I can hear myself in my ears, and it's messing my talking up even right there. So if you hear that throughout the podcast, that's what it is. But people on Twitter were saying that Tigres is a better team than Fort Lauderdale. So to get a 0-0 draw shows that that 5-0 loss was just a fluke.
Yeah, I think we all kind of felt that way. It's playing against your rivals at their home. You let them jump in front of you, and then we saw some pretty shocking performances all around the pitch. So the boys definitely looked more composed. They looked better. They started the game much better, but I don't know. Odds that we were going into that and getting a draw were probably pretty high.
I actually looked before the game on Hard Rock. We were plus 160. Tigres was plus 165, and then a draw was plus 220. So it was about as even as a match as you can get, and it turned out that the draw would have been the best play.
Yep. I mean, those games are always on all those betting websites, and there's plenty of more, like you can find out on our sponsor for today's episode.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your soccer wagering needs, including MLS and European leagues throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contest, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or your mobile devices. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team, and remember to use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Thanks again to BetOnline for sponsoring today's episode. Owen, I'm going to make the joke again. You got away for a couple episodes, but you still can't bet. Your takes are getting better, but you still can't bet.
Couple seems like it's a lot because a couple might be. What is he? No, I can't add him like that. Never mind. But if you want to understand the joke, our Discord is free. You can join, talk, have some banter with everybody, especially Owen, because apparently he doesn't have a life and just sits in Discord all day. So.
Owen's like our moderator at this point. You know what I mean?
He's working his way up in the world, isn't he?
Yeah. He's an OG. Shout out to the kid. So yeah, we'll get back to the game. You took some notes throughout the first half. I saw you typing away over there.
Yeah, we can go ahead and hit that first one. And this was actually edited through the game, mostly the first half. And my first one was Araujo and Cartagena not starting well. And then I edited it maybe 40th minute. And I said, having shockers while the rest of the squad is starting better than other matches because we've seen slow starts throughout the season. It's becoming a theme. But it just seemed to be those two, and it hurts because it is our midfield.
Mm-hmm.
But then everybody else was decent.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a couple of games now. We've seen it's not been ideal. I mean, probably our most solid point of the team last year. Not starting at the same pace that we kind of expected them to, but it's all right. We're going to grow. You know, they're going to get better as the season goes on, but it's just we have to win now in this tournament. So it's frustrating. But like you said, the rest of the team started better and 100 times better than we started on Saturday. So we could see that whatever Oscar talked to them about or whatever they've been practicing and training for the past couple of days really paid off.
Yeah, I think the Mexican teams can counter very well, especially Tigres. So maybe there was part of it that was them sitting back and seeing if they could get that early break goal after what they saw happen against Fort Lauderdale with us. So maybe this could be a one-off, and then next match on Tuesday, they could just come out of the gates and try to press us, keep possession, and then we, again, have a slow start.
Yeah, that's very likely. I feel like if I was any manager, though, and seeing what happened on Saturday, I'm coming out and I'm going to go after you right off the start because they showed it on Saturday. We've seen it a couple times in the past. We start games slow, and if you can jump ahead early, our mistakes can really start to compound because we overextend and have to chase a goal.
I think one of the main things is the passing. We saw it the first, what was it, like third minute
Mhm.
against Fort Lauderdale, where Caesar trying to make a quick pass instead of just receiving, probably listening to someone that was behind him, telling him man on or space or turn, whatever
Right.
language they speak. And it was just not good again from both of the midfielders, especially Caesar. It was just off. Nothing could hit the target. It just wasn't a good look.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it all around the field. I feel like even Muriel up top was making some loose passes. Definitely cleaner in the passing game this week. I feel like everybody was in like the 80% range on their passing accuracy through FootMob. But you said it in your notes. Brekalo. Let's go ahead and talk about him. It was, his second start, but it was his first full 90 for the team. How you feeling after that?
Yeah, the first thing that I wrote down was Brekalo's passing is questionable. And then we looked at the stats a bit earlier. I think it was 36 of 41 that he went. So he
Hmm.
was still probably above that 90% passing percentage, which I'm pulling up. I lied. 88% is 36 of 41. So I got one of the numbers right. But it just seemed like those 5 came in the wrong moments, or they were, like I said before we started recording, when he is driving with the ball, dribbling up the pitch, and then it just doesn't happen. It's off by 2 feet, ends up with Tigres, and then they're on an attack.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a position you want to be having loose passes from. You know what I mean? If your center back's giving the ball away, it's immediate scoring opportunity almost every time.
Mhm.
So when he does miss those passes and they don't come off, obviously they seem worse and we pay a little more attention to it. But we did see him make some really high class passes. You know, we saw him make the hard passes that Schlegel can't ever make. So I think the big takeaway for me with him playing is it's so nice to have a center half playing center half. Um, somebody that knows what to do, is in the right positions. I mean, that pairing of him and Janssen, Gignac didn't even have a sniff of the ball. The aerial defense showcase that those two guys put on out there, fantastic.
It was nice to see a center back in a center back position, like you said. Schlegel not cutting it, not even close. So to just have that competence and the simplicity of someone playing that position and staying in that position was nice to see, even though a couple passes were off a little bit.
Hmm.
But like that Murillo situation, just added into the squad, learning players' movements, the chemistry between them, and maybe that's something that we just see improve over time. And again, he is still coming back from injury, still had that growing problem that kept him out against Fort Lauderdale. So give him a second.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of already touched on it, but with the other new signing, his first full 90, um, not full 90. Sorry,
72?
Duncan came on, um,
77.
but his second start, first in the CCC. Um, people are kind of not sure how they feel about him, judging by the vibe on Twitter. Um, me personally, that's class. You know what I mean? Like he's got tons of class in his locker. Now I understand people are used to Duncan McGuire, Daryl DK, these type of strikers we've had for the past couple of years. He's not that. He's going to be more of a false nine. He's going to drop back in. He's going to look for that pass.
Yeah, he is. He's a much more Duncan can be dynamic, but he is more dynamic than Duncan is. He can
Hmm.
play those on passes. We've seen that he loves a backheel pass, so he has that geekiness about him from playing in Europe. Just being Colombian in general, that just
Hmm.
comes with the flag that you represent when it is the Colombian flag. So we can see a lot more of that in the coming matches, but we just have to allow him to be him. You can't force him to play it one way. You can't want him to be Duncan. You can't be want holy cow, you can't want him to be Dom Dwyer, Kyle Laren, whoever else you could bring out of the woodwork. Hopefully not Carlos Rivas because we saw how that went. So just let Muriel be Muriel. The goals will come, the assists will come, the nice interplay is we've already started to see it, but it will come off more as the
Mhm.
players learn what he wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, I said it to you during the game. At certain moments, it looked like he was doing a little too much. But what I think that attributes to is him being comfortable in a system for so long, knowing where people are going to be, knowing what the coach expects from the players, and him not really understanding this team yet. Like he talks about how welcome he feels and integrated and part of the team, but these things just come with time and minutes with players, knowing people's intricacies and their movements on the pitch. Like, yeah, the ideas, the manager's ideas are on the pitch, but it's like the quote you said last week, the first half is up to the players, the second half is a manager's game. So, it's up to the players on the field, what they're going to do, how they feel in the moment. So he'll learn. It's coming. His goals and assists are coming.
He's only made maybe a handful. He could only have 5 max, but he's only made at least English is tough. He's made max 5 appearances
Right.
competitively for Orlando City. So, like, pump the brakes. He is still Luis Muriel. Give him a second. He'll figure it out. I had him as golden boot, so we just know that's gonna happen.
I mean, I think I did too, if I'm not wrong. I could be
That's
wrong,
all
but
you need then.
yeah, he's the goals are going to come. It's like you said, he is who he is, and there's class there. We see it in bursts, in moments. I mean, he almost went and scored on his own on that one ball that we won back up higher up on the pitch, made 2 men miss, and then he did have the opportunity to pass to Facundo, but tried to make an extra move, tried to create a little more space, and then that opportunity closed. So he went alone, and it was inches wide of the
Mhm.
post.
And there's been other matches where that same thing has happened too. There's a keeper that got a good hand. I can't remember if it was Montreal's keeper or Calgary's keeper, but one of them got a hand to it, just pushed it wide of the post, or it was finding that bottom corner.
Mhm.
So it's just a matter of time until the ball finds the back of the net off of his foot. You just can't get frustrated.
Nope, and we can't expect him, like you said, to be Duncan or any of these other guys. We got to play a little differently with him. I know we like to work the ball outside wide and put a ball into the box and see what happens. That's just never going to work when he's in the game. You're not going to have that number in the box. It's like we were saying, I think it was at the gym today before. You got to beat somebody, get down the byline, and look for that cutback pass because he's going to be at the top of that box 10 times out of 10 looking for that goal.
Yeah. And then following that, I said that we might have to play like Man City. Kind of laughed that one off a little bit. But if you do bring that pressure, bring a good number of players up. I kind of trust Brekalo and Janssen to be back there to stop those counters 100% of the time. So if we do that and then we overload one side and switch the ball, overload ball side pretty much, we could be dangerous, but it's just adding that extra step that isn't whacking the ball into the box and then hoping someone is there to finish it off.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of called it for it all last year as we started to see the uptick in form is for us to really assert our dominance on a game, really just choke somebody out. We don't have that in our game currently. That like killer instinct, you know what I mean? Where you smell that blood in the water, and you can put this team to bed. We see us lose concentration, lose focus, and lose those moments, lose the ball in those moments. We have the players to be able to sit at the 50 and possess the ball for 15 minutes straight.
So then that's kind of where my next note comes in. You said we have the players to kill off the match. If we're comparing it to Man City, they obviously have Holland, Julian Alvarez, KDB, uh, Phil Foden did it against Man United on the weekend.
Yep.
So our version of that obviously isn't as talented, but it's still
It's the
Facundo Torres, Luis Muriel now, Duncan Maguire. I'm sure there's other people.
Nico Lodero.
Yeah, hearing myself messes my train of thought up so much, it's ridiculous. So my next point, the first one I mentioned, Facundo Torres, kinda ghosted a little bit in this match. But when we say we have the talent to kill off games, but the talent doesn't show up, and then the depth that we thought we supposedly had that was going to be that good is kind of letting us down right now. How are you supposed to kill off games when the people that you would expect to kill off games don't do it?
Yeah, I mean, people got to start stepping up. Like, there's no way around it. It's kind of like you on our Twitter post or the post match post. Like, belief doesn't score goals. Belief doesn't score goals. Like, it's probably the hardest line to come out of that show. Well, one of them. They've got some great lines, but it's the truth. You know what I mean? Like, the product has to come out in the field. We have to score goals. Now, thinking about it though, I feel like anybody in this team or in this league would love to have the situation where we have, like, all right, Facundo's not performing right now. He's a little hurt. He picked up a knock. Let's pull him out. And Martin Ojeda is coming off the bench. You know what I mean? Like, that's a game breaker. All right, Luis Muriel is not really getting involved. Let's put in Duncan McGuire. Like, these guys just need to just get their rhythm and start scoring because like I said, the quality is there. I mean, we saw Ojeda in double digits last year off the bench.
Mm-hmm. In goal involvements, yeah, I think it was 7. It was either 7 assists and 6 goals or 7 goals, 6 assists. One of the two. So he has the quality. It's just not coming out so far. Is that down to how we're playing, or is it like a simplest way to put it? Is it just not coming off?
I feel like it's just not coming off at the moment. You know what I mean? There's no excuse for the team not to be gelled other than a couple of pieces that are in there. And, we have grace with that. But I think it's just not coming off at this moment the way that we want it to, the way that it was in the preseason. Early in the season, a lot of fixtures. So, we have to keep that in consideration as well. We're playing a ton. We're seeing a ton of rotation. So, these squads, the team isn't the same week in and week out, So there's that. But I think really it was shown on Saturday perfectly. Like, there was nothing we could get to go our way. The bounce wasn't going our way. We couldn't get a good touch on the ball. So it's like, I think it's just not coming off right now.
I feel like that should be like a one-off thing, though. No,
I like that bad of a performance. Absolutely, I don't expect it again. But I just feel like it just shows, like, sometimes you need some luck.
But when you don't score a goal for 3, not straight matches, because Calgary was in there, but you got Montreal. Is it 3? Yeah, and then Fort Lauderdale, and now, Tigres in the first leg.
Right.
At some point, it's not just going to be it's not coming off. It's that something isn't good enough. The players aren't good enough. Not overreacting yet. It just realistically might get to that point. Or no, I'm not going to say that yet because that happened last year, and there was a division in the fan base. So
no, yeah, we're not at that point by any means.
I just can't go through a whole season where we score a total of 34 goals. Can't do it.
No, we're creating chances. Like, that's the thing. I'd be more worried if we weren't creating chances. We're just not finishing the opportunities that we do create. Some of them are half chances, and that I'm not that worried about. But Muriel alone had 2 chances. We saw, I think it was Ojeda late, Duncan late. We're creating opportunities. We're creating chances. We're just not finishing them. We're not being clinical. So that's, I think, where my optimism comes into play, is that makes me feel better about the whole situation because we are creating chances. Maybe not as plentiful as we would like, but they're being created.
Yeah, I'm looking at FOMOB right now in our XG stat compared to all the other teams in the league, and we are all the way down. Oh, I got to go to the next page. We are in 20th out of 29 with 1.7 XG created just in MLS league play. So the 2 matches that we played so far in the league, I believe, 1.7 total XG. But there's teams that have like 6 point something. So we're creating chances, but not as well as I believe that we could. DC United is in first with 6.6.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we could be doing better. I think we all know that we could be. Our team isn't performing up to the standard, but I'm going to give it a little more time before I start saying there's a problem with something that we're doing. I think right now it just comes down to we just need to score a couple of goals. I think the guys are thinking a little too much about what they're doing out in the field and not just kind of having fun. Like the end of last year, we just saw them go out there and have fun playing football. Like this year, it seems like the pressure of the expectations is you can kind of see it. The team looks a little tense. They look a little burdened,
So are we putting too much pressure on them? Are we expecting too much from the squad?
No, I don't think the expectations are too high. I just think that they feel that expectation. They want to go out there and win every single match, but I think we can go out there and win every single match. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but we have the potential to do it. They know the expectations. They have expectations on themselves. All off season they've been told we're winning the league, we're winning the league, we're winning. So they feel that, and they're going out there and things aren't coming off as well as they should. We've had that setback in Miami, so
yeah, it's almost, you could say they're trying to do too much, but that is also something that we've said in the last 4 years. It's like sometimes you just got to take the shot. Facundo on the top of the box on your left foot. Stop looking for the pass and just hit the ball. If you can get it past Aaron Ramsdale, you can get it past anyone, but he's really not that great, is he? So you just take the shot. You got Muriel. He's not afraid to take the shot. Duncan just tried to chip a man. So yes, it does just have to come off for you, but at the same time, shoot.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. It's like you said, it's been a problem for years now with this team. Just stop doing too much and just take the shot. Stop looking for the extra pass. Like we're not trying to walk the ball into the back of the net. So for me, like I said, it's early. We'll see what happens over the next couple of matches. Saturday, I feel like is a good opportunity for us here back at home. Again, an opportunity to really kind of put Miami, Fort Lauderdale behind us, and show everybody that was a fluke, and this is who we really are.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some more stats on football now. I'm looking at shots on target per match. So far in the league, this could just be the fact that we've only played 2. We might be towards like the bottom end of matches played. But we are currently in 21st with 3.5 in, again, however many matches we are in. So this number is inflated. But Dallas has 8.0 shots on target per match. So very much towards the bottom of that table, I would say. And then if we go another year back to 2023, shots on target per match, we are at 4.3. That is 15th in the league. So let me go one more just to see if this isn't an outlier. Shots on target per match in 2022, 27th place, 3.6 on target. So this is a trend that we're seeing. Now, we're not just making this up. We just need to shoot more, because if we do, we score more goals. And we did finish second in the league last year. And we were, I think I said 15th. So literally mid-table with shots on target per match.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it just shows we're creating quality chances and capitalizing on them in that. But yeah, no, we need to shoot more. We need to trouble the keeper more, because we say it all the time. You never know what happens. The ball gets put back into the box. There's somebody there. Keeper just has a howler. There's things that happen.
Calvary's keeper gets signed to an MLS side. You never know what can happen.
We play in the MLS, my man. We see some shocking goalkeeping every week. So,
just not from us, Pedro, my personal goat.
Yeah, no, I mean, lifetime contract. That guy's never going anywhere. 65 still in the goal for us.
Might have on that one, but depends on how we perform. Unless you got something on that last topic, I'm going to move on to my last note.
Go for it.
I just said the refs are hot ass. Walter, the ref's first name, had a shocker. It seemed decently biased. I
The second
personally,
half for sure.
I can't say that I feel like the match was altered or we were denied of a result, but you can still have a very, very poorly refed match and
Mhm.
it not impact the result of said match. It was ticky-tack fouls that were called against us, and then there would be blatant fouls that weren't called against them, yellows that should have been given to them that were never given out, and it just wasn't a good performance from my man Walter.
Yeah, no, that was I think you said it that you could tell he had no control of the match because every single time there was a corner, it was 5 to 6 minutes before we actually got the ball into the box because he had to keep walking over and saying
Okay.
something to somebody. My biggest gripe on top of that, before you say anything about that, is homeboy stepping up on everybody and chesting up and getting in Enrique's face. And shout out to Enrique. You just moved yourself up 100 rungs in my eyes for you putting your chest back out and getting right back in that fucker's face, man.
Yep. Yeah, he earned a lot of respect for me for just doing that.
Yeah.
I am trying to find his name on SofaScore because on SofaScore you could go and see the refs kind of stats and stuff. If I can't find it, I remember looking last night at the stadium, and he had, I would say, less than 50 professional competitive matches refed. So he's
Yeah, he's a
still a,
CONCACAF merchant, right?
it was his ninth or 10th match in the CONCACAF Champions Cup, but that was it. Don't know exactly what other competitions he has refed in, but I'm going to try and find it.
Yeah, I mean, first half I didn't feel too bad about the officiating, but the second half was really, I mean, like you said, just the small fouls getting called against us versus tactical fouls not being given yellows that are blatant yellows. Um, it's just not great, you know, when you're supposed to be playing in the highest tournament that you can in club football, other than like the Club World Cup, and this is
Mm.
the officiating that you deal with.
So I found this man on SofaScore. It is Walter Lopez. He's Guatemalan. He has refed 9 CONCACAF Champions Cup matches, averages 3.3 yellows per game, has given 2 pens. And in the CONCACAF Gold Cup, which is a national team competition, he averages 5.4 yellows per match. He's given 1 red and 1 pen. Then he's got games in the Leagues Cup, U20 World Cup, World Championship qualifiers, which looks like CONCACAF qualifiers for the World Cup, Olympic matches, and the Club World Cup. He he doesn't average less than 3 yellows per game in any of those competitions.
Hmm.
Just, I need to go get my repping license that I had, like, years ago, and then I can replace Walter one day because that man needs help.
I think yeah, the officials in general need help. So maybe that's your calling.
The other thing that I was gonna look at on there is I was gonna count the matches. He's got 18, 22, 26, 30. He's got 34. 34 total professional matches. Somehow he got given U20 World Cup games, which is beyond me.
I feel like isn't that like their training ground for refs?
It might be, but at that point, it's still like the younger kids' World Cup. So at the same time, don't you want them to have the highest level of ref? Maybe not the people that are doing the Champions League and actual World Cup, but give them some quality, yeah?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we deserve quality too. Playing in a Champions
We're,
Cup, you know.
no, we're stuck with DJs and composers, scab refs, and then fuck Walter.
Fuck Walter. Fuck Guzman too, and his patchy ass nutsack that he's got on the top of his head.
Brother, just let it go. The Widow's Peak is too bad, and whatever
Yeah.
strike coming down the middle, let it
Go Mohawk at that point, my guy. You got like half a Mohawk. It'll start right here for you.
What is it? SEC mornings where it's Tim Tebow, and then they're talking about the haircuts, and they go to Paul Feinbaum, and someone says, "What are you telling about the barber? Just leave the sides."
Just leave the sides.
Sides.
Oh man. Yeah, you just gotta let it go, man. Well, we do appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you for all your support. If you find yourself coming back, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. Hit the like button and turn on your notifications so that way anytime we post, you can be the first to watch. All our social medias are in the description. Check out our Discord. It's nonsense in there, but it's a good time. You get to talk with other Orlando City fans. You get a little behind the scenes stuff with the podcast, kind of get first to know, first to be able to get your opinions across. And then the other way that you can support us is by checking out Patreon. Like Zach says, Amazon Prime gives you a free subscription on Twitch. I'm sorry. But Patreon is not through Prime. Yeah, but Patreon only costs like $3 a month, and it helps us out a ton. And we put a ton of different types of content out there. So if you like this stuff, you definitely like what's on our Patreon. And then, like I said, Twitch, we're on there for our live streams that won't happen this week, but right, it won't happen tomorrow.
We'll see.
Right, we might be live, we might not, but we do it weekly. So get in there. It's gonna be a good time. I'm gonna have to whoop everybody's ass in Mario Kart here soon.
Absolutely not. Nope. I found, if you listen to all our pause or live streams, I have gotten the timing down for the boost at the start right after the 2 pops up in the time. Drifting down, boost down, and generally just being better at Mario Kart. Easy win.
So I'm gonna win after you've been sweating for the past weeks training for this. After 0 training, I'm just gonna hop in there, smoke you, and that's that, huh?
No, I wouldn't train if I thought I was gonna lose. So
well, we appreciate you guys, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks for joining in. Thanks again to our sponsor, Bet Online. Use that code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus. That's BLEAV. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next one.